Talk about a crusher. Yes! Oh! Are you kidding me? And
gone! We are back. This is episode number 16 of the Schoolyard Sports Lane Frank podcast. As you know, I'm the host of this podcast, Lane Frank, and there is so much to discuss on this action-packed episode. The NBA is back. There's a lot to talk about in the NBA. MLB free agency is back on. Blake Snell got traded to the Padres. Yu Darvish got traded to the Padres. College football playoffs are tomorrow. Notre Dame versus Alabama. Clemson versus Ohio State. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be an action-packed episode. Stay tuned for Schoolyard Sports Lane Frank, episode number 16. Let's get into it. Now, let's start with episode number 16, how we always do, with our headlines. In the NBA, there is so much news. The NBA is back, and the Nets are looking phenomenal. Phenomenal, I mean. But I don't know what they're doing resting KD and Kyrie. I mean, it's this early in the season you have to rest. They said it wasn't their plan to rest both of them, that Kyrie probably shouldn't have sat out, but whatever. The Nets, they're looking like a really, really good team this year. So are the Hawks, so are the Celtics, so are the Bucks, even though they've had a couple rough losses, but I think they'll pick it up. Rockets. They are not looking good. Spencer Dinwiddie for the Nets. This is the one bad news for the Nets, that he has torn his ACL, and he was probably going to be a major piece in that James Harden deal. But there is so much news in the NBA. I don't want to go too in-depth in the headlines. There's going to be a lot to talk about the NBA in this episode, so stay tuned. Let's move to the NFL. Dwayne Haskins was cut. He was the number 15 overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, and he is a bust officially now. He did not play well against the Panthers. He's had a couple incidents off the field, on the field, everything with Dwayne Haskins. This is the right move by Ron Rivera to cut Dwayne Haskins. Ron Rivera should probably be coach of the year. He's coached a team with no name. He's had a lot of distractions. He's had basically no quarterback. And, I mean, Ron Rivera's an amazing coach. I think he should definitely be coach of the year if they do make the playoffs. The Steelers, they beat the Colts. I feel like something just clicked into the Steelers at halftime. Mike Tomlin maybe gave a huge halftime speech. I don't know. They played amazing after the half. Chase Claypool played pretty well. Juju Smith-Schuster had a big touchdown. Big Ben played well in the second half. The defense played well in the second half, and they shut down Phillip Rivers and the Colts offense, and they did win that game, clinching a playoff spot, winning the division. The Steelers team is playing well at the right time. I'm excited to watch them in the playoffs. Alvin Kamara. Wow. 6 touchdowns in the game. Tied for the most ever. And that's insane. 6 touchdowns. I feel bad for you if you had to play against Alvin Kamara in fantasy football. I feel bad for you. But Alvin Kamara is an amazing, amazing player. 6 touchdowns in the game. Wow. And Tom Brady, division rival of the Saints, they played amazing also. He didn't even have to play in the second half. They were winning by 35 points at halftime. Matthew Stafford got hurt pretty much in the first quarter, and they didn't play well after that, obviously. They didn't score. They scored 1 touchdown in the game, and it was a punt return touchdown. So, I mean, Chase Daniel did not play well. Tom Brady played amazing. Even Blaine Gabbert played the whole second half. He played pretty well. So, the Bucs are also clicking at the right time, and I'm excited. Fitzmagic. That's all there is to say about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzmagic. That's all there is to say about the Dolphins. Wow. That was an amazing comeback. What a drive. I mean, what a throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Greatest no-look pass ever, according to Patrick Mahomes. What a play by Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think he definitely needs to be the starter for them now. What in the world is going on with the Chiefs? What in the world is going on with the Chiefs? I mean, you almost lost to the Falcons, and if A.J. Terrell hangs on to the interception, you lose to the Falcons. What is going on with the Chiefs? I have no clue. They need to start clicking better. They're not playing well at all right now, and I think something has to happen. Right now, I don't see this team as a Super Bowl caliber team. I mean, Super Bowl caliber team they are, yes, but maybe not a Super Bowl winning team. This team, it's not looking great right now. I mean, they might not even make the Super Bowl at this point. They're not clicking, and if they don't start clicking soon, then I can see them losing to a team like the Titans. And Titans, they lost to the Packers. Let's get into the Packers a little bit more now. Packers played well, and the defense showed up. Sean Gary, my Michigan guy, played amazing in that game. Packers defense is clicking at the right time. Packers offense is clicking at the right time. And they're playing so well. And I want to say one more thing in the headlines. Congratulations to Cam Newton for throwing 34 yards in one game. And Cam Newton has 2 touchdowns at Gillette Stadium this year. And Josh Allen had 4 in that one game. at Gillette Stadium. Congratulations, Cam Newton. You have officially ruined this Patriots season, and this Patriots season is not going well at all. You got blown out on Monday Night Football. What's going on with the Patriots? Those are the headlines this week. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Now, Schoolyard Sports NFL Game Day. This is the last week to get a perfect record. I am determined to getting that perfect record. There are a lot of good games this week, a lot of playoff implications on the line. Let's get into it. Bills-Dolphins. The Dolphins lose this game, they're at risk of losing their playoff spot. The Bills already locked up the division. I doubt they play some of their starters. I'm still going to pick the Bills, but very, very close. Steelers-Browns. The Browns. Big Ben is out. Big Ben's not going to play because they're resting most of their starters because they've already won the division. They're not going to get the number 1 seed. Chiefs already locked that up. And the Browns have to win this game to make the playoffs, pretty much, after losing to the horrible Jets last week. Jets, 2-game win streak. But the Browns, I think they do win this game over the Steelers. Cowboys-Giants. The Giants win and Washington loses, they're in. The Cowboys win and Washington loses, they're in. So, let's pick this game. There's a lot of playoff implications on the line. I'm going to take the Giants in this one, and I do think the Giants make the playoffs this year. That may be a biased pick, but I'm going to take the Giants in this one. In New York, last time they played, it was really, really close, and I was with Dak Prescott up until he got hurt in that game. But I like the Giants in this one. Pretty close. Packers-Bears. The Bears might just make the playoffs this year, and that's insane to say that. And it's also insane to say that Mitchell Trubisky is playing at an extremely high level. I think the Packers do win this one, though. Pretty close. I think Aaron Rodgers does want that number 1 seed. I think he does want that bye week. And they have a lot to play for also. And I do think the Packers come away in this one pretty close. Colts-Jaguars. This is a tough one. The Jaguars beat them in week 1. But that is the only Jaguars win on the season. Jaguars have already locked up the number 1 pick. I still do think the Colts win this one. Jaguars, you're going to get a new head coach, you're going to get a new general manager, and you're going to get a sensational talent, a future franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. Colts win this one, though, in a blowout. 34-10, give me the Colts. Ravens-Bengals. The Ravens. The Bengals beat the Steelers, and the Steelers have beaten the Ravens twice. But I still do think the Ravens win this one. Pretty close, but I like the Ravens in this one. Titans-Texans. Titans also might lose their playoff spot if they lose this game. But the Texans, last time they played, I think the Titans won in overtime, 52-45, if I'm correct. I think the Titans win this one pretty big, 33-17. Texans lost last week to the Bengals. What is going on with this team? Deshaun Watson's playing amazing, but they have no help for him. Titans win this one close. We're going to get that perfect record. I'm determined on getting that perfect record. Those are my picks. Leave your picks in the comment section. Let's get that perfect record this week. Now, top 5. It's been a very eventful year in sports. We've had basically every sports league shut down, and we've had a couple sports leagues start up again and then be crowned champion. But today's top 5 is top 5 sports moments 2020. As 2020 is coming to a close. This is the last episode of 2020 for Schoolyard Sports, so let's do top 5 sports moments 2020. And I'll do an honorable mention first. Patrick Mahomes' record-breaking contract of $530 million. The biggest contract ever. I mean, there's a lot of more bigger things to put on this list over that, so that's why it's an honorable mention. There was a lot of great sports moments in 2020, but here's number 5. The Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Now, that seems like a lifetime ago. It was back in February before all this stuff happened, but the Chiefs did beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl, and Patrick Mahomes winning his first Super Bowl, Andy Reid winning one of his first Super Bowls. Yeah, this is number 5. I mean, it was a great run to the championship for the Chiefs, basically having come back from behind every single playoff game, coming back from 24 against the Texans, coming back against Titans, coming back against even the 49ers in the Super Bowl. That's why it's at number 5. Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Number 4, Dodgers when they won the World Series. They came back from 3-1 in the Conference Series, and they won in the NLCS, and then they won the World Series, and it was a great World Series to watch. Credit to the Rays. Credit to the Rays, definitely. But the Dodgers did win that World Series, and I'm going to put it above the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl because they had to win a World Series during a pandemic, the Dodgers. I mean, credit to the Dodgers. They're at number 4, in my opinion. Number 3, the Lakers winning the finals. It's above the Dodgers They still had to win it during a pandemic, but they also had to win it during a bubble. And LeBron James winning his 4th title ever, Anthony Davis winning his 1st. It was a great run to the finals for the Lakers. I really wish the Heat would have won, but, the Lakers did win. Credit to the Lakers. One of the best sports moments of 2020. I'm putting it at number 3. Number 2, the thing that broke the internet. Tom Brady leaving the Patriots and signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady leaving the Patriots, probably the best move ever. After seeing the Patriots on Monday Night Football, we're not going to talk about that. But, it's insane. He was with them his whole entire career, over 15 years with them, and he won so many Super Bowls with them. He won 6 Super Bowls with them, and he won so many MVPs with them. It was a legendary franchise with him, but he decided to leave and go to Tampa Bay, and seeming to be the right decision right about now. That's why I'm playing it at number 2. The day Tom Brady pretty much broke the internet by leaving the Patriots to go to the Buccaneers. Now, number 1. Probably the most easiest one. The day sports shut down. The day sports shut down, March 11th, and then pretty much the day after, March 12th. March 11th, the day the NBA shut down, the day all college basketball tournaments shut down. Then March 12th, when, more college basketball championships shut down. The day the MLB postponed most of the season. The day the NFL pretty much shut down. The day everything shut down. That's pretty much the top sport moment of 2020. We've never ever seen something like this in sports. There's pretty much a 3-month hiatus from sports forever. Every league, MLB, NBA, NFL, everything. So that's the number 1 sports moment of 2020. Like I said, it was an eventful year for sports. And not the greatest year of 2020 for sports, obviously, like I said, but an eventful one. That's my top 5 sports moments of 2020. What are your top 5 sports moments of 2020? Leave that in the comment section. Now, did you know? Today's Did You Know is, did you know that Chiefs in their past 2 games have only won by a combined 6 points, winning by 3 against the Saints, winning by 3 against the Falcons, but the Jets have won their past 2 games by a combined 10 points, beating the Rams by 3 and beating the Browns by 7. The worst team in the NFL, everyone proclaimed, the Jets. They said, no, we'll beat 2 pretty good teams in the Rams and the Browns. And obviously the Chiefs are slumping right now. That's a crazy stat. And before Sunday Night Football, when the Packers beat the Titans, the Jets had more wins over winning teams with the winning record than the Packers did. The Packers only had 1 coming into that game, and the Jets had 2 after their win against the Browns. That's pretty crazy. Did you know that Chiefs have won their past 2 games by a combined 6 points, and the Jets have won their past 2 by a combined 10 points? That's a crazy stat. Did you know that? Leave that in the comment section. That's about it for Did You Know this week. Now, the NBA just started, so NBA tip-off. NBA, this is the first episode we've had where we got to talk about the NBA in the regular season, everything going on. I'm going to talk about the teams I like, teams I don't like, players I like, players who I don't think are playing well at all, and teams who I think are title contenders. The Nets, they're a bit iffy to me. I used to love the Nets I loved the Nets after that Celtics game, but then they lose to the Hornets, and then when they play the Celtics, they play Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot 3 minutes, and then when they play the Grizzlies, they play him 40 minutes, and he's starting. What are you doing, Steve Nash? It's a little bit different. I don't love this lineup that much when KD and Kyrie are out. It's not that great of a lineup to me. And with Spencer Dinwiddie out, especially this Nets team, I don't think they're a really good team without KD or Kyrie, even without KD. If it was just Kyrie in them, I don't think they're a great team. So that's why I'm not fully sold on the Nets yet. I really do like this Nets team, though, at sometimes, and I really don't like them at sometimes. But that's one of the teams I'm a little bit uncertain about. Here's another player I'm uncertain about, Donovan Mitchell. So they play the Thunder, maybe one of the worst teams in the NBA, Thunder, and he shoots 20% from 3. They play the Timberwolves the game before, and he shoots 22% from 3, and he shoots 26% from the field. He has not been playing great at all this year, Donovan Mitchell. I'm a bit surprised by it. I thought he would have a really, really good year, like average 30 points or something insane like that. But he's just not. I'm not fully sold on him yet. And the Nuggets, I wasn't fully sold on them. Then I see Jokic's stats and everything. Then I'm fully sold on them. Nuggets, they started off a little slow. I think they're going to pick it up down the way. But I like the Nuggets a lot. But I'm not fully sold on Donovan Mitchell at all and this Jazz team. I don't think they're even, they might not even make the playoffs this year. Donovan Mitchell, I don't think he's playing well at all this season. Here's one team that I love and love to watch. The Hawks. They were 3-0. They're an amazing team, the Hawks. I mean, they could be a playoff contender. And I didn't think they would be this good this year. Trae Young, absolutely going off. He could have an argument by the end of the year to make an All-NBA first team, All-NBA second team. He has been amazing, and I mean amazing this year, Trae Young. And so is this Hawks team. They're finally clicking. They're close to finishing the rebuild, and they're close to turning into like buyers, contenders, things like that. They're turning into a really, really good team, the Hawks. They got John Collins, Trae Young, Clint Capella, everybody. They're turning into a really, really good team. I am really excited about this Hawks team. They are so much fun to watch. This Hawks team are really, really good. I'm a bit nervous about Donovan Mitchell, like I said, but here's another team who I absolutely love also, the Celtics. Yes, I know they lost to the Nets. I think maybe in a 7-game series they would beat the Nets. You never know. Conference championship, that could be the matchup. Nets, Celtics. That would be pretty interesting. But Celtics, Jason Tatum. Wow, he's been playing really well. But what I'm more surprised about is Jaylen Brown, how he's been playing. Jaylen Brown has been playing out of his mind, crazy good. He's been playing amazing this season, Jaylen Brown. I'm so excited about all the teams in the NBA. Even my Knicks. They beat the Bucks by 20. How about that? Obi Toppin is out for a little while, but NBA is back. It's so exciting to watch. That's about for NBA Tip-Off this week. New segment about the NBA, everything else going on in it. Donovan Mitchell, he's a player. Not so certain on right now. What are your thoughts on that? Leave that in the comment section. Those are my thoughts. Leave yours in the comment section. Now, like I said, as this year is coming to a close, a lot of NFL teams need to start writing up their New Year's resolution. So a lot of NFL teams have been pretty bad this year. Here, most of the NFL teams, and this is their New Year's resolution, what I think it should be. Let's get into it. Dallas Cowboys. For next year to be their year. Every year they're saying, oh, it's next year's our year. Next year's our year. Next year's our year. What they want is for next year to actually be their year. And it might just be. Because Dak Prescott back, this team has improved a lot towards the end of the season. Even Andy Dalton, if they decide to bring him back. I mean, they've been playing pretty well with the Cowboys down the stretch. They beat the Eagles on Sunday. The Cowboys, their New Year's resolution should be to have a really good team next year, because I think they could be, and for next year to actually be their year. The Patriots, to draft the next Tom Brady, or to have Tom Brady back. That's a wish for them to find the next Tom Brady is what Bill Belichick needs and is what Bill Belichick wants. And the Patriots, they're not doing well at all with Cam Newton. Yeah, 34 yards. Oh, that's amazing. 34 yards. Good job, Cam Newton. No, I mean, it's terrible. Cam Newton's been terrible this year. So are the Patriots. What's going on with this team? I really don't know. But their New Year's resolution should be to either draft the next Tom Brady, and their wish should be to have Tom Brady back. But those two things might never, ever happen. The Bills, to have a playoff win. They never, ever win in the playoffs. I don't think they've won a playoff game in years, and they never, ever win a playoff game. They blew the game last year against the Texans. They played against the Jaguars a couple years before, and they blew that game also. I don't know what's going on with the Bills in the playoffs ever, really. I mean, and if they make the Super Bowl, to actually win it, because there's a stretch time where they went to 4 straight Super Bowls and we lost all 4 of them. So the Bills, they desperately want a playoff win. That's what their New Year's resolution should be. Washington football team, to find a real quarterback. Dwayne Haskins, no, down the drain. Terrible. Alex Smith, he's a good player, but he's not going to be your franchise quarterback. You could find someone like Kyle Trask, who I think maybe will come back for another year at Florida. Or you could find someone like Mac Jones. Mac Jones, I'm really high on him. Deep throw accuracy, off the charts. Amazing quarterback. But Washington football team, their New Year's resolution should be to find a real quarterback. The Texans, to find Deshaun Watson some help. You got Will Fuller, but he's suspended, so. But you can't just have him. You got to have other people. You got to find somebody. You got to find the next DeAndre Hopkins. Go on the draft. Try and draft. Oh, wait, you don't have draft picks because Bill O'Brien traded the number 3 pick to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, maybe going to be a playoff team this year, now have the number 3 overall pick. Their New Year's resolution should be to find Deshaun Watson some help. The Jets, they should commit to having Adam Gase gone by right after Week 17, or at least by the end of 2021, because this team has just been terrible. I mean, terrible up until these past 2 games. Adam Gase, no, these past 2 games did not see a drop at all. They did not at all. I mean, Adam Gase, you've been really, really, really bad this year, and you're probably the worst coach in the NFL. Jets' New Year's resolution should be to commit to getting Adam Gase out of town and firing him. The Eagles, to solidify a starting quarterback. Next season, it'll be Jalen Hurts is our starting quarterback to start the year. After 3 games, it'll be, no, we've decided to go back to Carson Wentz after Jalen Hurts struggled. After 4 games to him, it'll be, we have gone back to Jalen Hurts at quarterback. You got to solidify a starting quarterback. You want to draft a quarterback like Mac Jones? Probably not going to happen. Do you want to get rid of Carson Wentz? Do you want to stay with Jalen Hurts? You need to solidify something. Their New Year's resolution should be to commit to finding a true and real starting quarterback and not just flip-flopping between Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz, whatever it might be. Solidify a starting quarterback. That's what their New Year's resolution should be. The Titans, to have a real defense, to commit in the draft, to having a good defense, try to find good talent. There's a good defensive draft. I read somewhere that TJ Watt has more sacks than this whole entire Titans team. When you play a good team like Green Bay, you get toasted. Titans, their New Year's resolution should definitely be to find more talent on the defensive side of the ball. They need to commit to that. You got offense down. Try and get a good defense. Last one, the Raiders. To not collapse towards the end of the year. They needed to commit to maybe getting a new quarterback. They want to hope to not collapse towards the end of the year. They were sitting at 6-3 at one point. Hey, hurrah! We're gonna make the playoffs. We're gonna make the playoffs. You're sitting at 7-8 right now. How does that feel, Raiders fans? Your one win is against the Jets by a terrible call by Greg Williams that saved that game for you guys. The Raiders, their New Year's resolution should be to either finding a new quarterback or committing to not trying to collapse towards the end of the year. And I know that's not like a thing you can really fix. It maybe a culture thing. I don't know. This Raiders team, they need to commit to not collapsing towards the end of the year. Commit to maybe finding a new quarterback. Desmond Ridder. Maybe go out and find Jameis Winston in free agency. Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, Trey Lance. I don't care. Whoever it might be. That's what I think New Year's resolution should be for those teams. What do you think they should be? Leave that in the comment section. Those are my thoughts. Leave yours in the comment section. Now, going pro. Like how we did last episode, pro or no. Let's play another game, going pro. Where do I rank all of these NFL caliber quarterbacks who are in college right now? Basically, my big board, not a mock draft, where do I think Zach Wilson is the best quarterback in the draft? Do I think Trevor Lawrence? Who do I think is the 5th best quarterback in the draft? All that, let's get into it. Number 1, Trevor Lawrence. Is this even up for debate? He's the best NFL quarterback in this class. He's the best quarterback in this class. No debate about it. If you don't think so, then I don't know. Trevor Lawrence is easily the best quarterback in this draft class. Number 2, I'm going to shock a lot of people here. Zach Wilson. No Justin Fields. Not anybody else. Zach Wilson. I've been watching a little bit of tape of him. He's got a Josh Allen arm cannon. He's very mobile. He's really, really accurate. And he's a bit different from Josh Allen. Josh Allen isn't the most accurate. Josh Allen throws a couple picks. He doesn't throw so many picks, Zach Wilson. He's thrown like 3 on the season. He'll probably go up a little bit in the NFL. A little bit risky decisions, like fumbling the ball. Some throws that were touchdowns might be interceptions in the NFL. But he's the most raw quarterback prospect. I think he has untapped potential. Untapped. I think he's a really, really, really good quarterback. He's at number 2 for me. Zach Wilson, the 2nd best quarterback in this draft class. Number 3, Mac Jones. Justin Fields keeps on sliding. That's not me being a Michigan fan. That's not biased or anything. I think he's had a rough year, Justin Fields, and I don't think he's pro-ready yet. Number 3 is Mac Jones, like I said. His deep throw accuracy is off of the charts. I mean, some of the best we've ever seen. Like Andrew Luck type, insane. Ball placement is pretty good. You could say he's playing with great receivers and stuff. Okay, but someone has to get those receivers the ball. Someone has to throw that ball 60 yards downfield on the dime. Mac Jones does that, and it gives you sort of mobility, a little bit of mobility. Not so much, but a little bit. I like Mac Jones. He's on number 3. Number 4, finally, Justin Fields. He went from 2 weeks ago, then he went to 3 last week. Now he's on number 4, keeps on sliding. I think he should come back for another year at Ohio State. I hope not, because he'll probably have a good year at Ohio State next year. I'm a Michigan fan. But I think he probably should, because he's had a really, really bad year, and from what I've seen. So last year, he had 1 interception going into that Clemson game, and Clemson was really the only great team he faced that year. He threw 2 picks in that game. Okay, not terrible. 3 picks, that's amazing. 3 picks on a year, but, he threw 2 in the biggest game of the year. Then they play Indiana this year. He has no picks coming into that game. Indiana was the best team he faced this year. He throws 3 picks against Indiana, hadn't thrown any coming into that game. Then he hadn't thrown any after that game up until the Big Ten Championship game, when they have to play another good team in Northwestern with a really good defense, and he throws 2. Ball placement isn't there this season for Justin Fields. It's just not. He's not a good quarterback right now. I don't want him to be like another Dwayne Haskins. I'm rooting for him when he's not in college, Justin Fields. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't want him to be another bust like Dwayne Haskins. I think he should come back for 1 more year at Ohio State, develop a little bit more, because NFL GMs see this, and he might slide down in the NFL draft. He might be a bust, because, Justin Fields is at number 4, in my opinion. Number 5, Trey Lance. He's also raw like Zach Wilson, has a lot of talent, but same thing like Zach Wilson, level of talent he played against. And Trey Lance played 1 year starting. Outstanding, just outstanding. 42 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, 1 interception, maybe even no interceptions, I forget. But Trey Lance, amazing quarterback. He's a bit of an issue processing speed. That's why I want a team like the Steelers to pick him up, the Saints, a team with a quarterback who's old right now, so he can develop under them. Then maybe in 3 years he can be the starter. He doesn't have to right out of the gate. We're going to play Trey Lance right out of the gate. I see that happening with a lot of rookie quarterbacks, and then they're not good. Dwayne Haskins, that might have happened with him. So, Trey Lance is at number 5. He's a really, really talented and skilled player. He's got some weaknesses, but I like him. But I do think that a bit of an issue processing speed, level of play, going from playing at North Dakota State, a Division II team, to then jumping to the NFL, the big boys. Yeah, I'm going to put Trey Lance at number 5, ahead of one other quarterback. You'll see in a second, but Trey Lance is at number 5. Number 6, Kyle Trask, the last quarterback, Kyle Trask. I think he should maybe come back for another year for Florida. The NCAA said this year doesn't count against your eligibility, so he is eligible to go back for another year at Florida, and he might do that. There's a lot of rumors that he is going to do that. I don't think he's a better quarterback than Mac Jones. I don't think he's a better quarterback than all the other quarterbacks that I've put above him. The thing with Kyle Trask is he plays in a passing-heavy offense, a throwing-heavy offense. Throw the ball 50 yards downfield, 30 yards downfield every play. A high-level offense with playmakers all around him, kind of like Mac Jones, but ball placement is pretty good for Kyle Trask. No mobility, a little bit lack of arm strength. You're going to say, he throws the ball down 50 yards every play, pretty much. But, it's not so much there like these other quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence, like Zach Wilson, like Trey Lance, like Justin Fields, like Mac Jones. It's not there yet. Kyle Trask, good quarterback, but he's number 6. The least, I think he's like a Dwayne Haskins maybe also. I'm not sure on Kyle Trask, because in the NFL, you're not going to throw the ball every play. You're not going to throw the ball 30 yards downfield every play. I think it's the system that he plays in with Dan Mullen. And people forget, Kyle Trask never, ever started a game in high school. And then he never, ever started a game in college until Felipe Franks broke his ankle last year. And then now Kyle Trask is a starter and maybe might win the Heisman this year. So Kyle Trask is a really, really, really good player. But I think he's the 6th best quarterback in this NFL draft. That's about for going pro. Do you think all these quarterbacks can go pro? I think so. Most of them can go pro. I think pretty much all the ones I've named can go pro. Maybe just not yet at this point, like Kyle Trask, maybe not at this point. Trey Lance, I think he can develop. I think he has to be a backup for a couple years. Same with Justin Fields. But that's about for going pro this week. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Those are mine. Now, College Football Showcase. And the playoffs are this week, tomorrow, Friday. Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State. But before we pick those games, let's pick 2 of the bowl games are also on this week. Texas A&M versus North Carolina. I'm going to pick Texas A&M in this one. There's been a lot of chatter about Texas A&M. Oh, we should have gone to a playoff over Ohio State. A lot of North Carolina players have opted out, so I'm going to pick Texas A&M in this one. Really, really, really close, though. 31-28. North Carolina, like I said, a couple players opted out. Texas A&M, not so much. I like Texas A&M, and North Carolina's running back opted out. That's a big loss for them. I'm going to pick Texas A&M in this one. Georgia-Cincinnati. Cincinnati, they're an okay team. They're not a great team. I don't think they should have made the playoff. I like Desmond Ridder, their quarterback. I think maybe he has a chance to make it to the NFL. But I'm going to take Georgia in this one. Pretty big, 38-16. Give me the Bulldogs. Taking Georgia in this one. Now let's play the college football playoff semifinals. The games of the year. Alabama, Notre Dame. Everyone's saying Alabama will blow them out. It'll be 45-0. Everyone said that about Alabama versus Florida too, and I said it'd be close. It was very close. 52-46. I think I said 56-49 Alabama. I think this one is close also, but still a two-possession game. Give me Alabama 34-23. The spread is Alabama by 19. They don't cover. I think Alabama still wins, but they win by 11. Give me Alabama in this one over Notre Dame, shattering their season. Notre Dame, Alabama moves on to the national championship game. Clemson, Ohio State, the rematch of last year. Ohio State hasn't beat Clemson in the playoff ever. This will be the third time they faced off in the playoff. Sort of a rivalry now. That's what Trevor Lawrence said. That's like a rivalry to him. Same with Dabo Swinney. Obviously, Dabo Swinney putting Ohio State at number 11 in his coach's bowl. That's going to riot some Ohio State players a lot, and they're definitely upset about that. Yeah, Clemson is just the better team. Justin Fields, you're struggling. They can struggle again. Give me Clemson in this one, 38-16. We're going to have Alabama, Clemson, National Championship, Part 4. We had it in 2015. We had it in 2016. Had it in 2018. We're going to have it 2021 National Championship game. It'll be in 2021, so the National Championship game 2021 will be Clemson versus Alabama. It'll be a great matchup. I'll give my pick on that game next episode. But I do think it will be Clemson versus Alabama. If it's not, then we'll obviously pick whatever game it is. But that's about for College Football Showcase this week. I am so pumped and excited for these college football playoff games. Do you think Clemson will win? Do you think Alabama will win? Leave that in the comment section. Those are my thoughts. Now, the best for last. Question of the day. Today's question of the day is, who will win the Heisman? Will it be Kyle Trask? Will it be Mac Jones? I hope it's Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is the best player in college football. No wide receiver has won the Heisman since 1991. Desmond Howard from my Michigan Wolverines. I think Devontae Smith does win the Heisman this year. Who do you think will win the Heisman? That's the question of the day. Leave that in the comment section. That's about for question of the day this week. That's about for Schoolyard Sports with Lane Frank, episode number 16. Happy New Year's. There was a lot to get through this episode. I am so excited that the NBA is back, but don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Instagram at Schoolyard Sports. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Twitter at Schoolyard Sport. Follow DB Podcast, the best podcast producers in the game, on Instagram at DB Podcast. And stay tuned for Schoolyard Sports with Lane Frank, the best sports content in the world.